Hey everybody, how we doing today, guys? This is Holy Mike at EPG Studios, guys. Hope y'all having a good one. So, anyway, guys, make sure you guys like and subscribe, guys. And click that notification bell, okay? Because that helps out the channel a lot. And also, guys, I stream every day on Twitch for 1 hour. If it editor can put the Twitch logo right here, all right. And then if y'all need some nice comfort for your body, your feet, anything you want, go to Everlasting Comfort in the description. Get 10% off your order, guys. It helps out the channel a lot. Thank you. All right, let's dive right into animated stories. Okay, animated stories are always so interesting to get dive into. This one's called "I Got Trapped in a Room with Both My BF and GF." You know, these animated stories are always so cringy and weird, and it always doesn't make any sense with these stories. They make no logical sense. They're supposed to be based off of true stories, but you know it's gonna be capped. So anyway, they get millions of views daily from the animated stories. And there's so many animated stories on YouTube, right? So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this. I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah, we're gonna dive right in. Here we go.
That's why I decided to prepare a surprise candlelight dinner in a creepy, abandoned hospital at night.
What?
As soon as I stepped onto the third floor, the door closed behind me with a bang. And that should have been my first warning to give up on this ridiculous idea because things
Why
were
are you in an
about
abandoned
to
hospital?
get
Also,
real
there's
crazy.
trespassing.
Before I continue,
It's also against
please
the
like
law.
and subscribe to
Okay.
protect yourself from getting into crazy situations. I
Oh,
pushed
I
the
didn't know
door
that.
to check if I was locked in, but thankfully I wasn't. With shaking hands, I messaged Taylor. "Hey babe, I'm waiting." Winky face. I suddenly panicked. Damn it, no! I'd sent it to my boyfriend, Oliver, instead. I immediately unsent it and sent Taylor another message.
What?
Hopefully, Oliver hadn't seen it. Suddenly, I heard footsteps approaching. I called out, "Babe, Taylor is..."
So she texts her boyfriend and her girlfriend. I'm here. What? Okay, to be honest with you, there are some relationships that have 3 people in a relationship, 4 people in a relationship. I know there's a lot of relationships that do that on YouTube. You can even find that 2 different couples that have YouTube channels that do expand 4 to 3, 5 people. I have known people that have a 3-way relationship as well. The girlfriend is dating the girlfriend, and both girlfriends are dating that one boyfriend, and they all live in the same house or apartment or whatever. But in this case, it seems like they don't each know that they're dating the same person, obviously, in this case. But hey, whatever. Let's keep watching.
"Is anyone here?" Just then, someone tapped on my shoulder, and I almost passed out. I heard laughter. "Taylor!" I yelled. "Babe, don't do that. You nearly scared me to death." She
Why is this
answered,
girl like 8 feet tall, man? Like, look how tall she is compared to the other girl. She's just like huge, man. She's like 8 feet tall. And this other girl is like 5 feet, and she's like 8 feet tall. Like, dang. Okay.
"And who told you about this venue?" I told her that I thought she'd love it, but
Why would
then
you
she
set up a
caressed my
table?
cheek
That's
and
against the
said,
law.
"I
You know how much
do,
in trouble
but
you would get for doing that?
You don't." My heart fluttered.
Yeah, obviously
My
do not know.
girlfriend was such a stud. Just as we sat down to eat, we heard a blood-curdling scream. Taylor got up and dashed out of the room to check it out, and I followed. We went into a room at the end of the hall.
That's
and
not
we
what
saw
it looked
a guy
like, I'll tell you
looking
that.
out the window. Thinking it was a ghost, I hid behind Taylor. She called to him. Who are you? What do you want?" The guy replied, "My phone. I dropped my phone. Damn it." I gasped. His voice sounded familiar.
I dropped my phone. How do you drop his phone out of a window? What are you doing? Like, I don't have my phone. What are you just holding the phone over the window, just blap? Man, why are you? First off, it's an abandoned hospital. First off, why is your phone like over a window? I don't quite get that. Okay, but hey, you do you, but it's dumb. I'll tell you that. Right.
Oh no, it couldn't be. But then he turned, and I almost wanted to jump out of the window myself. It was Oliver. I
Oh,
asked,
boyfriend.
"What are you doing here?" He replied, "You told me to come." The blood drained from my face as Taylor turned to me. Thankfully, everyone was suddenly distracted when Oliver said, "We have one little problem, guys. We're stuck." Taylor shouted, "What do you mean we're stuck?" Panicking, I ran outside to check the door, but it wouldn't open this time. I pushed even harder, but it wouldn't budge.
Why didn't he say
The
that
elevator
when
wasn't
he's...
working anymore, and the other fire exit door
Why
was
would
locked
you
as
even
well.
try an
When I got
elevator
back,
in an abandoned hospital? Even if it was working, why would you get in it? What are you gonna hit the emergency button that is disconnected in it? Like, why were you getting? And who's gonna come looking for you in an abandoned hospital? First off, and if somebody did find you, you get fined and jail time for trespassing. And then number 2, even if, I mean, that's a small chance that somebody comes to get you. Who's gonna be looking for you in an abandoned hospital? I don't quite understand that. So I'm just a little confused why you were getting up.
Oliver and Taylor were staring at each other. I swear the tension between them was so strong, I could feel it in the air. And at that moment, I realized that my worst nightmare had come true. I was stuck in the creepiest place possible with my girlfriend and boyfriend. I yelled, "We have to get out of here." Taylor said, "The door opened easily when I came in. Someone must have locked it accidentally." Oliver snapped back, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Taylor replied, "I don't know. You tell me." Geez, I had to do something before they killed each other. I pulled Oliver into a corner and explained, "Babe, that's Taylor. She's my cousin. She doesn't know that I have a boyfriend, so be cool. You're my other cousin. Get it?" He took out a piece of paper and pushed it into my pocket, saying, "Read it later, babe." I then pulled Taylor into another room. She said, "Ooh, this is hot, babe," and pushed me against the wall to kiss me. I said, "Babe, that's Oliver. He's my cousin, and he's staying with us at the moment. I don't know why he turned up here. He doesn't know that I'm into girls, so be cool. You're my other cousin. Get it?" She replied, "Okay, whatever. Don't know why, but something about that guy is super familiar." I quickly said, "I'm sure you don't know him. He's not from around here. Let's go." We started looking around to see if we could find a way out. Taylor's phone was in her bag, which was on her motorcycle outside, and Oliver had dropped his, so our only chance was my phone.
What?
I tried dialing 911, but of course, there was no signal. They were both holding onto my shirt as I led the way back to the room where Taylor and I had been on our date. Just then, Taylor picked up something from the floor. It was the little love note that Oliver had slipped into my pocket. She looked at me and then at Oliver and said, "Kendra, who gave this to you?" Before I could reply, Oliver jumped in and said, "What's it to you? Huh? Butt out of our personal business, will you?" Taylor looked furious, and I did the only thing that I could think of.
I gotta
and
stop
said,
stopping though,
"It
because
wasn't
I
mine.
can't.
You
I
know
can't watch
think
the whole
these
video
notes
and
are
also keep
stupid."
recording
Then I
my
took it
camera.
from her and tossed it away. I turned to the window and started screaming for help, but no one seemed to be in the area. Taylor suggested
okay.
we
So
gather
why
the bed
no one's gonna
sheets,
be in
tie them together to make a rope, and use it to climb down from the window. But Oliver immediately rejected her idea. "How are you so dumb? It's too risky. We're on the 3rd freaking floor. Don't you girls have any hairpins? I could try opening the lock with one." Taylor turned to him. "No, Nancy Drew, we don't. And I don't think that would help anyway. My idea is much better." As they continued to argue, I climbed up on a stool, hoping to get some phone signal. We needed to get out of here tonight before they found out I was dating both of them. Suddenly, I lost my balance and slipped. Luckily, I landed in Oliver's arms. He looked so handsome, and his strong arms always made me feel safe. He said, "Easy there, babe." He was about to lean in for a kiss when we heard Taylor clear her throat. She sarcastically said, "How I wish I had a sweet cousin like him," before walking away. She looked angry and jealous. As I ran after her, I tripped over something and fell forward and straight into her. She cried as she lost her balance, and we both fell to the floor. Her body felt so soft, and she smelled really good. Our lips were so close as I stared at her pretty face. She was about to reach for my lips to kiss me when we saw Oliver glaring down at us. He said, "We shouldn't be messing around, girls. Get up and move." Ugh, I found them both so attractive in different ways. It was so confusing. Maybe this was my chance to finally decide between them. Suddenly, Oliver came up to me and said, "I think your cousin has a crush on me. She keeps checking me out." I wanted to laugh, but then Taylor said the same thing about him. They thought jealousy was interest. For some reason, that pissed me off. Clearly, it was only me anyone liked. It was past midnight already, and Oliver suggested we wait until morning to find help. I thought it was a great idea. The less we talked, the less likely it was that they'd find out my little secret. But Taylor seemed agitated. I started dusting a bed off when Taylor said she didn't want to sleep in a room with a boy. She said, "I just wanted to have a girly time with Kendra tonight. We have lots of catching up to do." Oliver said, "Fine, I'll sleep in the next room then." In bed, Taylor hugged me from behind and said, "Well, I can't complain. I like how it's turning out." But I couldn't help worrying about Oliver. He only had one candle with him. Moments later, I noticed a blood stain on the bed and started freaking out. My period had started. Taylor said she had me covered and gave me a tampon. My girl was a lifesaver. I gave her a quick kiss. When I came back, she hugged me again. But Oliver being alone kept bothering me. I suggested that we move to his room. I said, "He's kind of a wimp. He might be scared." Taylor answered. Are you kidding me? I said. Oliver is my cousin. He's my responsibility. We have to stick together. Oliver slept on a couch across the room, and Taylor and I on the bed. Taylor had
This
already
is so
fallen
stupid.
asleep.
There has to be no
while I
heat or
kept
anything.
imagining shadows and whatnot dancing around the room. What if the ghost of a dead patient suddenly lay down beside me? I caught Oliver's attention and signaled him to sleep on my other side. He slid under the cover with me. To my girlfriend, and it was unforgivable. He then told me that he didn't trust Taylor. I think she already escaped and left us here. We should get out already. I was annoyed. How could he think about Taylor like that? I said, you seemed to find her just fine when you were kissing her. Just then, he looked out the window and yelled, See? I told you. He showed me a rope made of bamboo. I complained that no one had even asked me for food. And me, for a minute, the whole room was absolutely with his own hands. The freaking tray snacks and water bottles from a drawer. He said, if you want to stay here, it's fine. We have everything we need. I said, of course I don't want to stay here. And where did this food come from? Oliver said, I don't know, babe. It was just here. I thought you probably brought it for your date. And look how she's left you now. We lay down to sleep. Just as I had dozed off, I woke up in shock. I'd heard a phone ring. Was I imagining stuff? Something just wasn't right. I tried to open the huge door at the end of the hallway again, and unexpectedly, it opened this time. I went inside and heard another ring, then a moan. I followed the sound and was shocked to see Taylor tied up to a surgical bed, and next to her was a phone. I immediately ran up to her to untie her and grab the phone. We had to call for help. She revealed, that creep planned all of this. I remembered how I knew him. I used to date his sister, and he tried hitting on me back then. He found out I was going out with you. He wanted to get rid of me by trapping me in here. What? Panicking, I looked around and saw a fire extinguisher under the sink and used it to hit the metal lock bar on the fire exit.
So, okay, the comments are kind of true. Calling 911 when there's no signal, but then you try to call 911 again and pretend there's a signal. Like, what does this guy do? Have a jam? Okay, anyway, this whole thing was stupid. But okay, I hope you guys enjoy this. This is a little interesting, longer video. But hope you have a good one. This is Holy Mike EPG Studios signing out.